everybody, I'm Pranavi Nissan and today I will be doing the rapid fire book tag. Uh, it's an ancient book tag around somewhere in 2017 or 16. Many people have already done it, but I found it while I was scrolling through Pinterest and there's nothing else to do here, so why not? Let's be candid and get to know each other more. So without any further delay, let's move to the questions in the book tag. So the first question is ebook or physical book, and of course without a doubt it's physical book. Reading in a phone or a laptop or a Kindle, I don't know, it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't give you the feel of reading. There's no smell, that beautiful smell old books have, and there's no I don't know, authenticity while I'm reading in a phone. But they're cheaper, so it might be the option for many people. But for me it's physical books. Second one, paperback or hardback. I love hardbacks. They are so beautiful to look at and hold and display, but they're expensive. They're ridiculously expensive for no reason at all. But paperbacks are sturdy, durable, and they are compact and you can carry them anywhere, so it's a type. I don't know. Online or in-store book shopping. Online, because there are lots of discounts and you don't have to step out of the house, and they're cheap. Whereas if you go to in-store, they'll sell the book according to the MRP, and sometimes it's expensive, a lot more expensive than what it would be online. Trilogies or series. Trilogies sometimes fall short, like series go on forever, and that's my kind of thing. I like to indulge in something, and I like it when a series lasts long, like the Witcher series, the Game of Thrones, they have like 8 to 10 books in them, and that's my kind of thing. Trilogies are too short and they are done very quickly. Heroes or villains. I don't think that's a surprise at this point. I mean, everybody knows that I love villains. Villains are just people whose stories haven't been told properly, so villains. A book you want everyone to read. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I want everybody on the planet to read that book. It is absolutely amazing. And recommend an underrated book. Underrated books. Which underrated book do I know? There's a book called The Forgotten Book by Mathilde something. I don't remember the author's name. It's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and it's also a boarding school mystery. I don't think many people know about it. I'll put a picture here somewhere. The Forgotten Book. It's really entertaining, and if you are a fan of Pride and Prejudice, I recommend you to check this book out. It's a underrated retelling of it. I would recommend you to check it out. The last book you finished. The Authenticity Project by Claire Puri. I mentioned that book in my previous video, that is the exciting TBR of somewhat new releases. So I finished The Authenticity Project 2 days ago, and keep your eyes peeled for the review of the book. And the weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. A few years ago, I mean when I was in college, my diploma college, I used to read in class a lot, and as a bookmark I used to use my friend's hand. She used to sit right next to me and just grab her hand and put it in the book and close the book. Yeah, maybe that counts as a weird thing. But another weird thing I use as a bookmark is my earphones or headphones or something like that. But mostly I'm a huge bookmark junkie. I have lots of bookmarks and I use them, but once in a while I use the earphones or my phone or something, or sometimes even another book as a bookmark. Yeah, so 10th question, I think. The last book you bought. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I have it right here. It's absolutely gorgeous and I've been dying to show it off. It's so pretty. This is the last book I bought. I got it on Flipkart for 400. I think the offer is still on. You might find it there too. Okay, moving on. Used books, yes or no? Absolutely yes. Used books have this beautiful history and character in them. You see where the previous owner has underlined or highlighted some parts or folded a few parts or their address or their names, and it makes you wonder like what that other person might have been like. I absolutely love used books. You can find used books for such ridiculously cheap rates online. There are so many websites that sell exclusively used books, and yes, used books, huge go. Top 3 favorite genres: fantasy, historical fiction, and mythological fiction, like Percy Jackson series, yeah, something like that. For top favorite is fantasy, all-time favorite, and historical fiction and mythological fiction. If that's even a genre, then yes. If not, then dystopian. Yeah. Borrow or buy? I never borrow books. I used to borrow like a few years ago. There was a small bookstore that allowed you to borrow books. It's not a library, it's a bookstore, and I don't know, I think it's better to just have the book, purchase the book. So I usually purchase the book, and if it's too expensive to purchase, I listen to the audiobook if I can find it anywhere. Long or short books? That depends on my mood. If I'm in the mood for something quick and just finish it in one sitting, then short books. And if I'm in the mood for something indulgent and intense, then yeah, long books. When I'm reading long books, I usually prefer reading fantasy, because the mystery long books or the normal fictional long books are overwhelming. But fantasy long books are amazing, like any book by Brandon Sanderson or Joe Abercrombie. Such long, huge books which you can get invested in and read for a while. Yeah, those are my kind of books. And characters or plot? Everybody loves an awesome plot or story, but I think I'll go with characters, because characters are, more than the story. I think the characters are important, because characters are what take the plot forward, and characters are just new people you get to meet and new friends you get to make. I'll be fictional friends, but friends. Yeah, so characters. And long or short chapters? Short chapters. Dan Brown writes short chapters, and I'm a huge fan of that style of writing. Long chapters, you kind of forget the plot, where it's going, but short chapters are good. They're easy to finish, and they give you this illusion of speed, because the chapters are short. You think the plot is quite fast, and something like that. So short chapters. And name the first 3 books you think of. Harry Potter and To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, because I'm reading that right now. And Divergent, I don't know. I'm reading a science fiction book right now, so all I can think of is fantasy and science fiction related books. So the books that are on top of my mind are Harry Potter, because it's always there on top of my mind, and To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, because I'm reading it right now, and Divergent series, because these both are science fiction. Yeah, so that's on top of my head now. Books that make you laugh or cry? The book that made me laugh the most is My Lady Jane. It was hilarious to read, and the audiobook was even more hilarious. So the book that made me laugh is My Lady Jane and The Uncommon Reader, and yeah, that's it. Seriously, I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres. That made me laugh a lot too. And that made me cry, The Host, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Buttons is a book which made me laugh and cry at the same time. So we can consider that. 19th question, our world or fictional worlds? Of course I'm going to go with fictional worlds. It's not even a question. I would pick fictional world any day, any time, any second. Fictional world all the way. Audiobooks, yes or no? A huge yes. I love audiobooks. Audiobooks give you the feeling of sitting around a fire like in the olden days, and there's an old man telling you a story. It feels very novel and adventurous. I absolutely love audiobooks. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? No, I don't. Surprisingly, I don't. Surprising because I'm a very superficial person and I usually tend to judge things. I mean, I don't judge, but I sometimes judge based on appearances, but that's not the case with books because I'm very open-minded when it comes to books, and more often than not, books that are not very attractive looking have a beautiful story in them, and beautiful books are often disappointing and underwhelming. So I'm very open-minded when it comes to books. Next question, book to movie or book to TV adaptations? Book to TV adaptation, TV shows adaptations, because when it comes to movie, the writers have to like butcher the plot and make it compact and just fit it in the time scale of 2 hours or 3 hours, and you don't get the feel, you don't get to indulge in the plot or get to know the characters more. So I usually go with TV adaptations like The Witcher. It was so well made, and Game of Thrones, of course, even though they ruined the ending, but it was an awesome show. And could you imagine Game of Thrones being a movie, how unindulgent it would be? Yeah, so TV adaptations. A movie or TV show you preferred to its book? There are a few, not many, but there are a few, and right on top of the head is The Devil Wears Prada. When I first read the book, it was like I think 5 years ago, and it was very underwhelming. Lot of info dumping about fashion brands and lots of adjectives. I didn't like it at all, but the movie, we all know the movie is absolutely amazing with Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt, and that is one of my most favorite movie adaptations of a book. It's amazing. Series or standalone? Like I said before, it depends on my mood, but I am mostly a series person because I like to remain in a world for a period of time, like mostly fantasy worlds, but normal fiction world is okay as well. I like to like allot a period of time just for that world and remain in it, and standalones don't give you that feel. If you want to indulge in a standalone, it has to be a huge book, and I only like fantasy huge books or science fiction huge books. So series, that's it. We've come to the end of the questions, and there were 24 questions. I'll give the link to the questions in the description box down below. It was so fun answering these questions, and I would love to know you people, my fellow readers, and I would love it if you could answer all these questions in the comment section down below. Not all, maybe a few of them, and I hope we can be candid with each other and maybe become friends. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next video, goodbye.